Welcome to the Intercut podcast channel, where we are recapping some of the most notable premieres of the 2025 Sundance Film Festival. I'm your co-host Zachary Shevich, joined by my co-host Arturo Zarita and our long-lost twin Amanda the Jedi for our talk about the film Twinless. Twinless is about two young men who meet in a support group for twins who've lost their twin. It stars Dylan O'Brien and James Sweeney as the budding bromantic pair. Dylan O'Brien won Sundance's U.S. Dramatic Special Jury Award for acting for his performance in this movie, and his co-star James Sweeney is the film's writer and director. This is his second feature film. It was the winner of the Audience Award for the U.S. Dramatic category, following in the footsteps of other recent winners like Minar Ree, Coda, Cha-Cha Real Smooth, the Persian version, and Didi. Twinless was also the subject of some controversy at this year's Sundance Film Festival, but let's save the news for after we talk about the film. Arturo, what did you make of the Audience Award winner, Twinless?
It was a great lineup from the U.S. Dramatic.
Yeah, it was.
Completely. I don't think there was that many misses, and this was definitely in the top half of it. You go in there, for your boy Dylan O'Brien. You had mentioned James Sweeney having some other ones under his belt. And him also starring in the movie, I think, adds a lot of... it really heightens the humor of what this movie is. But I remember when you came out of it, you were pitching it as like a movie where you have unexpected turns in the plot that you don't see coming. And I think it is a blast of a film, a heartfelt film.
Yes.
And really is a powerhouse performance, I feel, from Dylan O'Brien. At first I thought, I was like, really? I thought we saw maybe better performances out of the festival, but I don't mind the award that he got for this one, because it was a solid performance.
It's not necessarily the kind of performance that strikes you as like, oh, this is an awards-worthy performance. Where, like, it's not... necessarily the most emotive. A lot of it is what he underplays. It's also a comedic performance, right? Like sometimes we don't see comedy performances get that kind of acting accolades, but he is really, really good in the movie and in ways that are pretty surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
James is good too.
Yeah, he's very good actually for being the writer director and technically the lead actor with co-lead actor.
Kinda, yeah.
I was the first one to see this, and I really wish I'd been able to see it the second time. I was really looking forward to catching it again, because it's remained at the top of my list, but I didn't know if that was just kind of like, I was so excited coming out of it that like nothing, other things being really good, I have to like see them more than once to just double check. But like I think it stuck once you guys all saw it and were like on the same page as me. I'm like, no, I don't think I was crazy. I do actually think this is just genuinely a really solid movie. Dylan O'Brien is doing amazing in this. I know there's maybe theoretically some of the performances were better, but I do think because of like Art was saying, just without spoiling anything, there's just like a degree to the performance that goes in a direction where it makes it a little bit more impressive. But again, it really is that like subdued nature of the performance in areas that ends up making it so much more impactful, and just certain things you find out about them and like things he's done, because he's really trying to deal with like the death of his brother. And it's just like the little things that he did or didn't do in life, and when they were growing up and when they got older, and the things he regrets and the things that they never told each other, while also still being really funny. It's like a very funny, enjoyable movie. It's got some lurker vibes in there too, just in terms of some of the behavior. It's really good. James Sweeney, I really like what's going on in his brain. I'm really excited to see what he does next after this, because this ended up being such a moving and effective movie that also felt very unique. And I think that's kind of hard to do nowadays. And usually things that feel like offshots of offshots. And like, I don't think I've ever seen anything about a twin support group.
And that's one of the things about it that feels pretty novel, right? So his previous film is a movie called Straight Up that I did pretty well, but mostly on the festival circuit, and I don't think it's getting the kind of accolades that are coming this one's way. But you mentioned that this is a film about grief, and there are like tons of movies about grief out there, and I think most of them,
especially this festival.
True. Tons of them don't really have anything new to say. Like they're usually
just
pretty
grieving.
heartfelt. It's just sort of like it's a process and you get through it.
Yeah.
And this was actually a pretty unique perspective on grief, or the perspective of like what happens when you're grieving a twin, somebody who you are so closely tied to, and it made the whole idea feel fresh in this package.
Yeah,
also, the idea that people are grieving the twin through you because you remind them of them.
Yeah,
you know?
that's insane.
That was like right off the bat.
That's an angle I didn't consider.
Yeah, and that's where I thought I was like, okay, you have a really smart angle at this because there is a different perspective when you're losing someone who looks just like you, who's got that, twin telepathy or whatever it may be. But it's also made up of like a really good cast because you also had a star who we've been seeing at the what's it called, Rose Wagner Theater for a while, a lot of Sundance movies. Aisling?
Apparently it's Aisling.
Aisling?
Aisling, okay.
Aisling.
Franciosi?
Franciosi? I think it's Franciosi.
I'm gonna call her the GOAT in this movie because she stole the supporting performance. We have seen her.
It took me so long to realize it was her because I've never seen her happy.
What? Speak no evil, right? She's partnering with the bad guy.
Yeah.
In the Demeter, she's fighting Dracula. We won't even get into Nightingale.
We're not going to talk about Nightingale.
Literally, you go on her letterbox, it is nothing but more depressing movies.
Trauma
and then she
movies,
comes in, trauma movies, stop motion,
Literally.
Unforgivable. She is the heart of this film. She's so delightful, chipper, in a way where it doesn't even come off fake, bro. It comes off so real, and it really adds an extra level to us.
But it's because they literally even give her a chance to like advocate for herself in a way. Like you think she's kind of going to stay in this same kind of characteristic the entire time, but it keeps going deeper. Every time you think it's hit the level of like, oh, this is all it's going to deal with, it goes another step deeper of like, this happens to a person who's already feeling like this. How does that trickle down behavior wise? How does it affect the people around them?
Yeah.
And like, it's really, really good. I can't wait to see it again. I'm actually really upset it's not at South by Southwest.
Right?
I'm surprised.
I feel like it's got a really well-calculated balance of like quirkiness and cynicism. I often find with comedies like this that are very concerned with like people's feelings that they can be a bit too sappy, but there's like a harshness that cuts through any cheesy moment that makes this like a lot more true and consistently funny while not trying too hard to make you cry, even though it probably will make you cry a little bit.
It sneaks up on you.
Yeah, it does. It sneaks. Man, it got me. I was like, oh.
It's a really well balanced, set of comedy and drama. Like I think it is quite funny when it's trying to be funny, but it also it has its moments of profundity.
I think it gives you a lot of wish fulfillment too. A couple of years ago, when we went into Promising Young Woman, that was a movie that I understood why people didn't like it. They were promised something. There are moments in this movie where you get to see Dylan be Papa Dylan and be protected to a degree. And it's beautiful how they can showcase that on screen while also like telling you this isn't the way to truly live life out. So it's able to get into uncomfortable spots, get into turns in the plot where you're like, this is disgusting. How can you follow up a story with these types of characters? And I'm glad it connected with the audiences because many times you get characters that make decisions that put them off. And this just had us leaning in more and more. And I think that was a big through line in this fest. Like Amanda had mentioned Lurker and many other movies that we had where we're embracing the parts that all of us may have in the depths of what of ourselves that we could become. Just beautiful movie.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Definitely.
It sucks what happened to it. We haven't really.
Let's discuss because that's also part of the marketing.
It is part of the market.
Yeah. So the film. The film was a big hit at Sundance. It won the Audience Award. We're all excited to sit down and watch it on our couches. And some were maybe a little more excited than others because sex scenes involving Dylan O'Brien and James Sweeney immediately leak out all over the internet, which prompts the filmmakers and the festival to remove the film from Sundance's online screening platform. It was the second movie to do so during the festival after the documentary Selena y los Dinos suffered a similar victim of piracy.
And we were joking about
shared an hour and a half, bro. It wasn't that big.
I was going to say, do you want to apologize for being horny on Maine right now? Or what's going on?
I'm sorry. I thought everyone else wanted to see it. My bad.
And we were joking about it too. Like we saw the Selena doc go right before we saw Companion. Or right after Companion.
Yeah. And lights are starting to dim. We see it gets taken off.
And then instantly we're like, oh, Twinless is going to be next.
Out of all 73 movies, it was the one we just knew. Because we were seeing the clips everywhere.
Yeah. Because, it was a clip. And thankfully, people aren't paying too close attention to it. So I don't think if you see the movie with enough distance from if you come across the clip, it shouldn't ruin anything for you. But yeah, apparently there was just some horny person was live tweeting it and then posted that clip when they got to it. Every time it got pulled down, they were posting it somewhere else. And then other people started posting it places because, I don't know, man, stan culture is fucking weird. And I get to a degree some of that. I don't know. They haven't released that yet. Probably not. Because
that was the one thing we all said. Well, you know who's press, who's public.
Didn't leak until the 31st.
Who's played it or not. Exactly.
Yeah. So that's I don't think that's press. If that had been press, they would have watched it already. If you're a Dylan O'Brien fan who has press access,
and we didn't watch it.
Yeah, but if you're there, but if you're a Dylan O'Brien fan enough that you're live tweeting the movie and posting sex scenes,
you would have seen it right away.
That would have been the first thing you watched. You're wrapping up. That's a midnight. You're the second it goes live.
I feel like for the most part, people in press and industry understand the terms of this access and that our continued access is,
I would never risk it.
Contingent upon us not jeopardizing the fate of the movie.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah,
but we keep letting more people in that don't follow those rules as influencers, and I'm usually on their side. I don't like.
I feel like there was less of them this year.
Maybe.
I don't think they brought as many TikTokers this year. I didn't see them on social media. I didn't hear them in the lines. I didn't see them.
I think Kodak Cameron didn't have a great time last year.
You didn't hear them in lines.
That's
usually how you know that they're there.
Yeah. I didn't hear them this year. I didn't hear anybody talking about how they didn't understand Wolfman. So.
But Zach, how do you feel in terms of the big aspect that we've taken advantage of? The reason why we're able to get so much coverage out there is being able to balance the in-person premieres that other people may not be able to see and then catch up on a lot of those documentaries, more indie films. Will they just separate it from the public getting screeners?
Because they pulled that from us too. Why didn't they leave it available to the press emails? They pulled
I wonder how much of that was just like a panic move on their part or them realizing they have the reviews they need so they don't need more press to see it at a certain
mentioned
point.
Things like that. Yeah,
probably
it's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, like the access to these films digitally is always going to be an important tool for movies that are underseen, but I think the main thing that this whole saga of Twinless has left me concerned about is less the idea that like, oh, this is going to be the end of digital Sundance, but that maybe this is going to be the end of movies that attract a certain kind of fan, have a certain kind of fervor around them. Maybe it's the end of those movies being available digitally on Sundance, because we already see a lot of films go to the premiere section that is not available online, and it's more the films that are looking for a chance, that are from a new filmmaker, that are in the U.S. Dramatic section. I just wonder if maybe the quality of U.S. Dramatic will be sacrificed a little bit by that fear around leaking early, because you know these are films that haven't even yet sold to a distributor, and maybe a distributor is a little less inclined to watch them, knowing that the sex scene already was viewed by 15 million people who probably don't need to see the rest of the movie now.
And we've argued sometimes that could be better marketing.
Sometimes.
But you'd have to argue that to a producer, but I agree with you.
Right.
You're saying remove all the movies that should be premieres out of the U.S. competition.
Yeah.
Because that's the real issue. I think you are right. We shouldn't see big, buzzy people. Hey, I love the Sweeney, or what's his name, right? Sweeney?
Yeah, James
I thought
Sweeney.
his last movie was good.
Me too.
My man, I don't know. I think you're a premiere guy now at that point. U.S. should be for those like first timers. It should be the Omaha director. It should be the people who haven't made a feature film, in my opinion. And I think that would help, like Zach's saying, keeping those titles online.
But then does it get weird when you're someone who ends up with a buzzy actor in your movie, but you're still a first-time director, and maybe you shouldn't even be in the category? Because I think we might have had that this year. But
is this a completely different story if John Magaro just like hangs dong in Omaha and that one gets distributed too?
No, because then we would have been guilty and responsible for that one. Oma dong, no,
not with the context of that, man.
Not with that one.
God,
but no, I do see it maybe changing, because I'm surprised that since 2021, that would have been the first year where it went full digital. 22 followed that up as well. I was very surprised that 23, 24, and 25 has allowed us to get more than half of the festival online. And that's publicly for everybody else, because what we've been arguing is, I know $25, now it's $35 is a lot for a
36.
ticket. Ridiculous, bro. It is a little too much. But you're taking into account, you're not traveling to Sundance. So it's almost like, from my own couch, I don't have to travel, lodge, wait in the snow, all that stuff.
Thousands.
It was still worth it.
Yeah.
And I hate that someone ruined it for everybody.
Yeah, because
That's the thing, right?
Because it was good. If the movie had been bad, I would have been like, you saved yourself, kind of, maybe. You got a chance to watch something
Zach
better.
had two funny, well, one funny bit, one serious one. One, you had mentioned how this affects journalists who may have had it. And then the other one was that there was two scenes and only one.
Right. So first of all, it's the fact that like this is access that whether it's journalists who are committed to writing stuff about this movie that are no longer able to catch the movie and therefore are unable to get that commission, which for people in film journalism, every commission is really, really important. So it's a shame that people like that lose access. It's also a shame that people who can't afford, as you were mentioning, to come out to Park City or can't physically come out to Park City because it's a pretty tough journey, or even people who are international and won't make the trip to the US. Like it's sacrificing all of their ability to see it over, you know, this entitlement to seeing this stuff early and sharing these sex scenes. And notably, I thought it was interesting that the gay sex scene leaked, but the later straight sex scene did not leak in this movie.
To be fair, I think if the straight sex scene had been more graphic, it also would have. If they had been able to see Dylan O'Brien's ass in the straight sex scene, I'm sure that one also would have leaked.
You do.
It's
the straight scene was gayer than the gay one.
I just don't remember.
Here. I actually got it. Hold on, let me send it to you. But no, like it's a great movie, and I feel like as film fans,
No, I know.
You got it. You remember? Yeah. We have a code,
because I feel like that one does actually add in. That one adds.
But I thought that was funny.
Context to the movie.
It shows you exactly who did it. And I remember one of you guys breaking down what the at was of the guy.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah, that was me. I found it. It was like this
Gay
one
Man
guy.
101, and it's like, bro, come on, you're outing yourself there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, these last couple of years has been like a freaking blessing to be able to have people from all around be able to tune in. It has helped our coverage, and as film fans, we have a code. It's been broken.
Yeah.
There's various things that are happening. We may be moving Sundance. That could change a lot of it as well. So
yeah, Cincinnati has sent their
air.
greatest warrior.
Dear Lord.
Put in a clip, Caitlin.
Sundance! Oh God.
Imagine if he had a twin.
He's gonna copyright claim us. Anyway, Twinless. It's weird that this movie has become this kind of like lightning rod for the future of digital Sundance. Yeah. At least the discussion is over. A movie that's good. Like,
yes.
I think the good movie is good enough that this won't ultimately be its legacy.
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Also, yeah, I mean,
Brother Bro liked it. Brother Bro is a twin. And I do think that's a good endorsement, because I was like, oh my God.
Well, what about the other
that could
twin?
like fuck them up. He didn't see it.
But Oscar,
he couldn't get in.
Damn. Again, because the result of it not being online is our story. That Amanda had the privilege to see it opening.
Yeah,
day.
premiere.
Yeah,
they
the
hooked
premiere.
me up.
For that, we
Was
were
it a fun
catching
premiere?
the press screenings.
It was a great
But she had
premiere.
told us. Yeah, she was like, "This is going to be a good one." And to me, it's the opposite. That when you see something early and it's still holding on, that's a powerhouse.
I agree. I'm like, I don't think I'm crazy. But I'm like, was I just so excited that opening night that I watch it again?
Not
and
for
maybe,
this movie. You are 100% right for this movie.
Yeah.
This one delivered on all.
I'm crazy
all
in a lot of
fronts.
places, but this one's good. Because
But
every
for
once in a while,
Twinless,
I
I
come
will
home and I'm
swear.
like, I love this movie, and then you guys see it, and you're like, it was all right, and I'm like,
That's the worst feeling, right? When you're showing someone something you like. It speaks to my soul. But no, the second time around, because it won, they added screenings. But we were at Salt Lake, which we were hearing things that it was going to be worse to get in. Zach got in. Man had comfortable seating because they did not get more people in.
when they had
we then
the
did
two
it
kosher
again.
seats right next to you.
Yeah.
One and
So we
two?
had to try for it again. It was just this idea that, for some people who do not have a chance to now cover it, even though that they were hired for it. And again, this movie would have a category that goes with it. I mean, I feel like it's already kind of been spoiled, not too much, but there is a demographic of reviewers that would cover this, just like the Hispanics that would cover the Selena doc. It is their bread and butter. We found a way to do it. Shout out Zach, was up super late after that other one. He got us the tickets
snack
for
tickets at
Yeah.
3:30
Alina
a.m.
Caitlin.
Yeah.
Damn, because I honestly don't think that the second time we would have gotten in as well. They
I don't
left the
think
row
so.
open. And again, that's why I'm wondering. Sometimes it's like hyping it up. Oh, wait listers were turned away is a pretty sexy headline for your movie being
Dude, no, I
hot.
think with literally Salt Lake City in particular, they were so panicked after having to send like 100 people
Red
away from
passes.
that Omaha
Yeah.
screening that they just were like, and until the movie's 5 minutes in, we're not letting anyone in. And then they're trying to tell us, no, it's good that they don't fill every seat. No, fuck you.
That the bid is to fill them up.
No,
Point
if it's
being
two
is,
seats off in a corner, no, that's not helping anybody.
give me the Karsten Kahn seats. I'll watch
Yeah.
it from the nosebleeds. I don't care, bro.
literally.
I've made it this far. Get me
Yeah,
in.
come on,
And
man.
we did. That's the point. So shout out
Yeah.
the Inner Cutie cast over here. We got y'all. And Twinless was one that we were not going to leave Sundance without seeing.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
it
I don't
delivered.
think we've
Oof.
ever left a Sundance without having caught the audience award winner for U.S. Dramatic.
That was fucking wild.
Right?
Yeah, not
And
a
it
huge
wasn't gonna
surprise
start.
that this one won U.S. Dramatic, even though it's not necessarily my favorite in the category. I think
It's
that
mine.
tends to go to like really heartwarming, funny movies for the most part. And this is like a totally fun, satisfying time that will
Yeah.
also kind of pull at your heartstrings a bit. What do you feel like is the future of this movie? Are people going to go see this in theaters? Is this one that probably is more people catching up with it at home? Do you think it gets like an actual release?
I think it should
We
get
don't know
released.
exactly
it
who is distributing this yet.
Yeah.
We don't.
No, it
A
should
lot of people
definitely get
tried to
released.
say it was fine because it was owned by Universal, but I don't think it's like not technically.
No, yeah,
It's Republic
Paramount.
Pictures.
Yeah, it
Paramount.
opens out with the Paramount Republic. So,
Yeah.
as Zach had mentioned, they
Republic
could be
Pictures.
selling it,
That's
or
what
they
I'm-
could be keeping it.
They
We'll
could be
see.
keeping it. And
So-
if they sell it, they could probably make a lot of money.
I hope they sell it, or at least try to release it. Because worst case scenario,
Yeah.
Paramount Plus. Nah. Give it a theatrical, and then Paramount
yeah.
Plus.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's
I
worth
think,
watching
like,
in theaters.
I think like a worst case scenario that gets like a decent bump on a Hulu release date, but I think it could do pretty well in like a limited theatrical release. I think it's satisfying. I hope people check it out. We certainly will continue to shout it out whenever it gets picked up because I think it's one of the better movies we saw at 2025's Sundance. But yeah, I think that's it for our discussion of Twinless. I'm Zach Shevich. That's Amanda the Jedi and Arturo Zurita. Stay tuned to Intercut for more of our reviews out of Park City. And until next time, I'm not the brightest tool in the shed.